Good evening, everybody, friends, everyone. Welcome to Las Vegas and the 2012 Monster Energy Cup. Now, before we get things going, we have a very special announcement. So I'm going to bring up Feld's Vice President of Two Wheel Motorsports, Todd Gendro, for that announcement.
Thank you for everyone for being here. I got a special announcement before we get started on the Monster Energy Cup's press conference. We've got some things to talk about, and one of those is I'm pleased to announce after a long 5-year hiatus the return of the KTM Junior Supercross Challenge. Select markets for 2013. The KTM Junior Supercross Challenge provides an exciting, entertaining element to our Supercross audience, but more importantly, the KJSC program provides a great opportunity for the youth of the sport to showcase their talent and give us a glimpse into the future, the next generation of Supercross superstars. The KJSC program has been a springboard for notable factory standouts such as Ryan Dungey, Mike Alessi, Eli Tomac, just to name a few. We're proud to be working with KTM and continuing to promote this positive representation of the sport. These markets include, on the 2013 schedule, Monster Energy Supercross, Anaheim 2, Round 5 on February 2nd, Arlington, Texas on February 16th, Atlanta, Georgia, February 23rd, Indianapolis on March 16th, and Las Vegas here on May 4th. I'd like to welcome to the stage President of KTM North America, John Eric Burleson, and Ryan Dungey.
Welcome, guys. It's been a while since we've had the little guys out there. So, John Eric, how did this come about? What was the incentive to bring this program back?
Well, we've been, 5 years is sort of a shocking amount of time when you think about it. And we've been building ourselves as a brand. And 5 years ago, obviously the economy was a different place and the sport was a little bit of a different place. But for us as a brand, we always kind of had, from the last KJSC event we did, we always had this hope to bring it back. And it's really an opportunity for us to bring it back in a different way. And it was something that, honestly, as we were in our last years of KJSC, we always thought a little bit of, we wanted our presence at Supercross to be a little more than just, the mini bike highlights. And with Ryan's success and joining the team and his success this summer, it really seemed like it was now a time to bring back the KJSC program or the KTM Junior Supercross Challenge in a way that really complemented the brand and was able to show our brand's strength, not only from 50s and 250s, but all the way up to the 450 class. So I have to say, actually, Ryan's success is really one of the things that was the final, push for us to be able to come up here. And it's an amazingly cool thing to be able to see what he accomplished this summer, and looking forward to his accomplishments, this coming Supercross season, and knowing in the back of our minds and hearing his story about, the first Supercross that he actually got to ride was on a KTM 50, 10, 12, 15 years ago, something like that.
What year?
97.
You were how old?
7 years old.
7 years old.
Minneapolis.
What do you remember from that night?
The race kind of little bits and pieces. I kind of still kind of look at it today thinking like, I don't know how I got around the track or how many laps we did, but I ended up third that day, and I just remember it being just one of the biggest days I'll never forget. At such a young age, you realize you want to go pro, and then and then you get that opportunity. And I remember we sent in a resume, got invited, and a day to hang out with the pros. It's like living the life, for a day, and got to meet all the pros and ride the Supercross track, which I'd never ridden before. And the things that I do remember is kind of the sketchy moments probably on the Supercross track. I think one time back then even the triple phases probably weren't so big, but I got air over one of them and I landed at the bottom and just head slapped the fender and saved it. But the whoops seemed like they were probably the size of the triple jumps now. So, but it was an amazing experience and something really cool that KTM, you know, for young kids with a dream, you know, to do stuff like that. It was really an amazing day.
Pretty cool. Do we have any questions specifically about the program?
Is there a particular rider the day that you wrote it that you met or something you learned that day?
Well, I met Fro.
I was almost done with my career by then.
We asked him the question a little bit earlier. You know, did you win? And I thought it was pretty interesting. You remember the only name you said was the one that beat you that particular day.
Yeah, I remember the guy who won. You know, I don't know. It was a long time ago, but it was cool just hanging with the pros. And you know, like I said, I met Fro, McGrath, had the little Polaroid picture camera, and that came out, and you just waved it, and there the picture was. So I still have them today. So it's pretty cool. Something cool to look back on, and being here and sitting here now, and some of those guys have moved on and still have a big part of the sport. You know, guys like Mike Larocco, team manager now, and so it's pretty cool to see. And even Kevin Windham, he was still on the Yamaha 125 class going after his championship, and now here we're racing against him. So it's pretty cool to look back on.
Any other questions?
I'm sure there'll be a lot of details, but will kids be able to qualify or sign up through the dealers, or how they qualify?
You know what? It's kind of amazing how much 5 years has changed. And back in the day, we used to have like paper applications, and now there's this internet thing, and that's pretty interesting. And going to have a lot of social media built around it. But the main place to sign up, we got a website set up. It's the KTM JRSX, KTMJuniorSX.com, and that's going to be the main website where they can sign up. And it's quite interesting when you just do a whole reflection of the way the whole thing worked, details-wise. We were just trying to find pictures of Ryan from when he did it, and we were, like he said, Polaroids and going back to going to the negatives, actually. And now we have a chance to get all the digital photos and family sharing and social media. So there'll be a whole lot more details to come, but that's going to start with the website.
All right, pretty cool. Big round of applause. Think about it. Next year we could see one of these little guys out on the track, and then 10 years from now he could be doing the same thing Ryan's done. So, all right, let's bring to the stage all of our superstar racers for the weekend. Can I get a round of applause for Adam Cianciarulo, Justin Brayton, Justin Barcia, Chad Reed, Ryan Dungey is back, hasn't left, and last year's winner, Ryan Villopoto. I love it. They're all playing so nice here tonight. Are any of you guys going to get a little mouthy today? No, everybody's going to play it straight. This guy will right here, Cianciarulo. So what you see in front of them is a case with $1 million in it and this massive trophy here on the side. So $1 million Ryan Villopoto earned by winning all 3 main events last year. That deserves a round of applause right there. And I know the guys next to him want to get a piece of that here this weekend. So tonight's press conference is streaming live on monsterenergycup.com/Supercross Live and at facebook.com/Vegas ME Cup, as well as tomorrow night's qualifying sessions from 1:30 to 4:15 will be streaming live on those same sites. So pretty cool stuff. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. Tomorrow's race will also be live on Speed, as you guys know, beginning at 7 p.m. local time, and at www.speed2.com. They will also be streaming the race live via the internet, so that's going to reach tons of people that way. In addition, Speed will provide the broadcast to an additional 45 countries and territories outside of the U.S., including Canada and South America. We also have ESPN International will be broadcasting the race live for the first time ever to 78 countries, including Chad Reed's homeland of Australia, into the Middle East, and also Africa, bringing the total to 124 different countries are going to watch this race tomorrow night. we have all new track design by Ricky Carmichael, which includes the 200-foot bank sweeping turn that is built into the grandstands on the south end, and it will be affectionately known as the Talladega turn. I think Dave Prater coined that, Talladega. Also, there's going to be two 11-rider starting gates that are going to be split by 220 feet in between. And then they'll converge at the apex of the 300-foot-long start straight. And then in addition to that, I know you guys are going to love this, there's the Joker lane. How you guys feel about that? Sand, jumps, whoops. It's going to be pretty interesting because the riders, they have to take the Joker lane at least one time in each main event. And it will have to be between laps 2 and 10. Obviously, off the start, you wouldn't be able to take that. So going to be lots of fun things for the riders to be challenged with this weekend. It's going to be great for us on TV, and it's going to be great for the fans. I think when you look at last year's track design versus this year, I think that there's been a lot of improvements, and it should be great for racing. You guys like it so far, just looking at it? Yeah? Okay. All right. Once again, the world's top professional racers will lay it on the line for $1 million in the 3 10-lap main event format. My buddy Adam here, along with the Super Minis and the Amateur All-Star classes, they will showcase the future of the sport, and they will each have 2 10-lap main events, or no, 2 main event format, excuse me. Outside of the stadium, there's going to be a lot of stuff going on. The fans that are going to be at the pit party tomorrow are going to be treated to some pretty entertaining stuff. Okay, so including a Gymkhana exhibition by the world-famous rally car driver Ken Block, who hasn't seen him do his thing, Formula Drift icon Von Gittin Jr. We're also going to have a freestyle motocross show featuring Nate Adams, Adam Jones, Taka Higashino, Jeremy Twitch Stenberg, and my buddy Blake Bilko Williams. So those guys are 5 of the top names in the world of freestyle motocross. They'll be doing their thing. We're going to have a street bike stunt team doing an exhibition and a special performance by the rapper Paul Wall. You listen to Paul Wall, I bet, yeah? You guys listen to Paul Wall?
Oh, yeah.
The little guys? I don't know. It's not my thing. Is the guy good? Does he rock it or what? Okay. So, I don't think rappers don't rock it, do they? What do they do? So, anyway.
Rap it.
They rap it. Okay. I'm old. That tells you. He was like 7 when I won the championship. So, anyway, before we get this whole thing started with the riders, I would like to congratulate and introduce Houston's Ashley Fisher as the 2012 Miss Monster Energy Cup. Actually, on the right there, she has a mic in her hand, so any of the questions that you journalists have, she will have the mic and you can grab it from her. So let's get started. Adam Cianciarulo, you last year's Super Mini champion, it says right here. Now you're riding the big bike, the 250 for the first time. What's it been like?
I mean, it's been really good actually. I was riding the big bike a little bit before Loretta's and only got a couple weeks on it, and then obviously had to race Loretta's on the Super Mini, so I had to focus back on the Super Mini. And after Loretta's, went straight to the big bike, and obviously went out to RV's farm for a couple weeks, and then headed out to California. Just started riding some outdoors first, and lately I've been riding Supercross. And actually, the day before I left, I tipped over and broke my finger, so it doesn't hurt at all. I just like to say I broke my finger because it sounds pretty gnarly. So I'm hoping that carries me through.
Any questions for Adam? Steve Cox.
You had said before that you had like some reservations about having to be a certain weight or whatever when you moved up. What was that threshold like, and what's the transfer to the big bike been for you at your size?
Yeah, I mean, Bones has always told me I had to be 120 pounds and was able to get that a couple months ago and maintain, have to eat a lot, but it's all good. It's actually been a really smooth transition for me. I went into it kind of thinking it was going to be super difficult, and it has been in some aspects, but for the most part it's been smooth, and I think the bike fits my style even more than the Super Mini did, so it's been great so far, and obviously looking forward to getting out here with the fastest guys pretty much fastest amateurs there is.
Question in the back. Chris Bond.
Adam, you look over there. You don't seem at all fazed by this. Like you're perfectly comfortable with Villopoto, Reed, Dungey. Doesn't any of this make you nervous?
As much as I'd like to say that it doesn't faze me at all, I'm scared out of my mind right now.
Are you more nervous with the Monster Girls being around or these top riders?
No, I mean, I'm pretty good around the ladies, just these guys. These guys, it scares me.
Aaron Bates.
Adam, what did you learn from last year racing here and how to adapt to the pressure of under the big lights in the stadium and the crowd? What did you take away from that last year that you'll be able to apply this year in the bigger class?
I think the biggest thing is just kind of being around it all, getting the vibe of, you know, kind of the pro atmosphere, and obviously you have all the people watching you, and little things like, you know, you can hear the announcer talking while you're racing, so just little things like that is hard to get used to, and obviously me racing it last year is going to help me out this year for sure, and yeah, really just being around it all and, you know, getting the schedule down, you know, qualifying practice, all that stuff that we don't normally get to do, pretty much all that little stuff.
It's okay. Jason Wygant, Racer X.
Could you just explain again your background and how you discovered the sport? Most riders come in because their dad raced or their mom raced or someone in their family did. I got to talk to you earlier in the week, and you said you took a path that's pretty cool. These races being on TV is what got you into the sport. Just explain that.
Yeah, it really did. There was really nobody in my family that ever raced, and at least nobody that I knew about. So I really just I saw it on TV, I think, at like 2 years old, and it was just one of those things like, Daddy, I want to do that. And he got me a bike for my 3rd birthday thinking it wouldn't turn into anything, and it has. And, yeah, I guess it's different. Nobody in my family raced. Nobody got me into it. It's kind of been me the whole time. So, yeah, I guess it's different.
All right, let's wish Adam good luck this weekend. First race on the 250F. Turn our attention here to Justin Brayton, who's making his return to the Joe Gibbs Toyota Yamaha team, and this will be your first race back with the team, which you left, it was about a year ago, right? How's things been so far?
It's been great. You know, I actually spent a lot of time in North Carolina over the summer, and I just really enjoy it there. I'm friends with all the guys. Even when I was on racing for Honda, I still would hang out with them, and never thought anything would turn up with that, but when it did, I was really excited about the opportunity to be back with them, and to not have that learning curve of going to a whole new team again. You know, that's actually a lot of it takes a lot of time for the rider to get to know the team and the team to get to know the rider. So yeah, I'm excited to be back with them, working with all the guys again, and spending the majority of the time in Charlotte.
Any questions for Justin? Question. Do you have any say-so in that all-white bike you guys got? Thing's pretty trick.
I actually didn't. J-Bone came up with it, and I didn't see any pictures. I kind of knew like they would be posting it on Twitter, Instagram, and I didn't open anything. So right when I showed up here, I checked it out, and I like it. You like it, bro?
I love it. I think it looks awesome. Nice. All right. Good luck. Oh, we got a question here.
All right, Justin, Joker Lane, do you go early in the race? Do you go late in the race? Do you just let the race play out and figure it out then? What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. It looks gnarly right now, actually, how it's I wouldn't want to be the first one to go through it right now. The sand looks pretty deep and some big whoops. So it's kind of cool how it all, you know, it's kind of like a pit stop in NASCAR. And we've been working on our bump drafting a lot around the Talladega turn back in Charlotte, so I think we should be good around that. But nah, I'm not real sure. I think we'll just have to see how it plays out and see how the sand kind of forms up.
Justin, tell me how you prepared for this event. With it being a hybrid track, is it something you spent more time outdoor or doing Supercross track?
I actually started when I first got on the Yamaha. I rode outdoors for a few weeks, and it just made sense because we were already in the outdoor swing of things, and and to do a little bit of testing so we get a jump start on next year's season. And then we got right into Supercross, and we just come here, just kind of pick my favorite setting in Supercross mainly, and it actually looks fairly Supercrossy from last year. The track looks quite a bit different. So, yeah, I think just I've spent the past couple weeks on Supercross, so I think that should be good. I think most of the guys have ridden a lot of Supercross, and seems like the track is more Supercrossy, so should be good.
Yeah, Justin, there's been a lot of talk about like the Yamaha, the way people like set up. I mean, how have you find the bike different to when you rode it last? Have you had to work on it more? You know, there's been a lot of talk about how it suited some other riders. You know, what's your view on it?
Yeah, when I rode it in 2011, I enjoyed riding the bike, honestly, and the whole time people were talking about it. You know, I don't think there's any magical bike out there that's just going to do everything perfect, and it takes time to, whatever bike you're on, it takes time to develop that, and I think the more time you put into the bike, the more you know what it's going to do, and you kind of make it for yourself. And I enjoy testing, but coming on the team, I knew what I had to work with, and you know, I wouldn't be here right now if I knew that the bike wasn't capable of going and winning races. So, yeah, I'm enjoying it, and I think just spending the testing time and getting it the way you want it, that's the main thing.
All right, JGR, Toyota Yamaha, Justin Brayton. Now, speaking of bump drafting and Rubbins racing, the next guy on my sheet here goes by the nickname Bam Bam. I give him a lot of grief for it, but now you're jumping, or Justin Barcia, ladies and gentlemen. This is your 450 Supercross debut. How's it going? New bike? Tell me about it.
Yeah, for sure. The new Honda's awesome for me. I've been riding Hondas forever, but yeah, it's a good thing. You know, we've been out at the Honda test track for 2 weeks now, getting the bike dialed. The bike's working really good. We got a good setting, and just really pumped on the whole thing. You know, I've known everyone at Honda for a really long time. I've been riding Honda since I was, 6 years old. So that's a huge thing for me. I feel comfortable, ready to have some fun.
Questions? I know you guys got some questions for him.
Well, I'm dying to know which one of the really cool features that they have this year on the track is the most intriguing as a rider. Split entry, Joker lane, or Talladega turn?
For sure. I think the start thing's pretty cool for any rider. It's just something different that I've never done, at least as a racer. I think they've had it a few times in Supercross, so that's really cool. Definitely a Joker lane, something interesting also. The track looks really good from what I've seen. I haven't been down there yet, but definitely looks like a fun time.
Justin, you're kind of like Adam in the fact that you don't show intimidation very much, but lining up in the big class, what is the thoughts and feelings lining up? Is it any different than from the lights class?
Yeah, for sure. It's something new. I'm really looking forward to it. It's a cool thing for a rider to, have not raced any of these guys before, really. I've never raced, different people a lot, so it's really cool for me. I was in the 250 class for quite a few years, and just looking really forward to racing different people. It's always a learning experience, learning everyone's different styles, different things they do, and I think it's going to be exciting. I'm going to really enjoy it. I really like the 450. It suits my riding style well. It's a fun bike to ride, and just a cool thing.
Ralph Shaheen, National Speed Sport News, in the back. Love you, pal.
Justin, this is a great opportunity for you to kind of make a preseason statement as we get ready for Anaheim. As to what you plan on bringing for the entire season. After that, you have to race the rest of the guys up to the panel each and every week. Is that something you're thinking about, letting them know how you plan on racing the rest of the year?
No, I don't think so, really. I do feel really good on the bike. I'm comfortable on the bike, even though I've only been riding it for 2 weeks now. But definitely just kind of, go out there and have fun and do the best I can do. And, that's all I can do. So definitely just looking forward to racing new people and a different style track. It's nothing we've really raced before, so it's definitely going to be good.
Anyone else for Justin Barcia? For what it's worth, somebody told me that as a non-Honda person, watched him ride at the Honda track this week, and they said he looks amazing. Almost like had that Damon Bradshaw type from back in the early 90s type of speed. So, Justin Barcia, we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
In your debut on the 450. Wow, here's a name we haven't heard, well, as far as racing, in a while. Chad Reed is back. 22 Motorsports. This will be your first Monster Energy Cup race, and your first race since Cowboy Stadium last year when you injured yourself, going for the win. How are you feeling?
I'll tell you tomorrow night. But I mean, for the most part, I feel good enough to obviously want to be here and racing. I've been riding enough and testing and training enough to want to come out here and just see where we're at. I'd be lying to tell you that I was here to try and go for the million, but I'm here to race. It's been so long since I raced last, and I just want to get out there and get my feet wet, and I'll go for it, obviously, you know, but for me, the most important thing is to come out here and race and have a good time.
Now, does it because you're coming back from the injury and, like you said, limited bike time, things like that, is the fact that there is no pure whoop section on this track, does that lend any advantage in that way that you know, the whoops being one of the toughest part of the track, now that section is not in there, do you think that makes it a little easier tomorrow night?
I mean, it's always easier without the whoops. You know, whoops are a part of the racetrack that I really enjoy, but you know, there's a lot of things with this racetrack particularly that's going to be different. So I'm just want to get out there, see where we're at, and see what I need to work on, see what we need to go with the direction with the bike, and move on. You know, I'm just excited, you know, really just to be back at the races and to work with the crew and just see what you're feeling at home if it relates to where I'm at, where I should be, and where I feel like I should be.
Now, you've raced a split start before. Do you think that there'll be any advantage to either side here? I haven't
been out there and actually looked at it physically, but we did a split start here in 05, I believe, and I won that night, so hopefully it's a tradition maybe. But I mean, for me, I think it's just cool that you have something that makes you think, and you know, if you qualify not as good as you want to, you can, you know, pick a side that's not as stacked, and your odds go up a little bit on who you're racing against. So yeah, we'll see how it all plays out, how we qualify, and pick sides.
Any questions for Chad Reed?
Well, it's obvious. I mean, you're sitting here with a Monster hat on, a Monster bottle in front of you, and all this stuff. What's the deal with the energy drink for?
I thought it was mandatory. Everyone had it.
No,
it was everywhere.
The other guys aren't doing it. Like, the other guys aren't doing it, some of them, so.
Yeah, I thought it was, everyone was just doing it. No, I'm excited to be back with Monster, and, you know, obviously it's nice to announce it on a weekend like this where it's their race, so hope I can do them proud like the guy beside me has been doing the last couple of years.
Ralph Sheen, Speed TV.
Jack, thoughts on the show being seen live in Australia?
Very cool, I think. Todd Gender called me, I think maybe Monday or something like that, and broke the news to me, and I told my mom and dad, and you know, they were really excited. I mean, it's not only me that's excited to be back racing. I think my mom and dad are. Maybe not so much mom, but dad. You know, and it'll be just cool. You know, because it's actually prime time for us. It'll be like in the middle of the day on a Sunday, and I just think that it's really cool on ESPN. You know, and it helps for me. You know, like there's a lot of sponsors that we've been talking to that you know, have a lot of communication back and forth with the U.S. So. You know, with me being on live TV in prime time on a Sunday afternoon, it's you know, helps me with you know, trying to get Australian sponsors.
So Steve Astafin maybe was happier than everyone on this team.
Yeah.
Any more questions for Chad Reed?
Yeah, Chad, there's some rumours in the summer you're going to be riding with that rider, or you're going to take this rider into your team, or whatever. How do you feel about the evolution of like your team and your project going into the new season? Quite happy where you're at?
Yeah, I mean, the semi to myself is always good. You know, obviously the goal has always been to try to put another contender on the team. We just unfortunately weren't in a position to make it happen as quick as you know, the riders needed that to happen. So first and foremost, I take care of myself, and once that's taken care of, then I want to build a race team. So we're getting there, and with guys like Monster, it helps the case, and I'm excited. I don't have a whole lot more years in this, and so to build a team is important at this point.
Over the summer, you had a chance to do some car racing. I know you built a go-kart track by your motocross track, and you were kind of hinting that you were really getting the itch for four-wheeled racing and pavement stuff. So where are you now that you're back on the bike? Is it the fire relit for Supercross, or do you still have an eye on other things?
I got an eye on other things for sure. If we were going four-wheel racing, I got these guys covered, I can tell you that. But, been driving go-karts every day, not going to lie. I love it. It's fun. And I go work my ass off on the Supercross track and put the dirty gear in the wash and go down and stay clean on the dirt, on the pavement. So, for me, it's just I did a couple of races in North Carolina, and some were good. I got spun a guy out, felt pretty good. So, hit the wall a few times, and it was a blast. I had a good time. So, we'll see. But for now, I'm focused on this. That's why I'm here. So, not going anywhere yet.
All right, big round of applause for Chad Reed. Oh, sorry, I jumped.
About the new bike, how different is it compared to the old one?
Still red, but for the most part, a lot of the things that we did in 2012 to do it, to build it the way that I like it, it seems to like all those similar things. So honestly, I'm excited to get out here this weekend and ride it, because I actually haven't rode it really against anybody on Supercross. When I tested, these guys were playing in the sand in the nations, and then I went back to Florida, and I just been kind of riding by myself. So I'm excited to get out there and just see where it is. But I mean, for me, my hopes are high. I really enjoy riding it. It's fun, and I have a good feeling with it. So we'll see if that translates into the races.
All right, two-time Monster Energy Supercross champion Chad Reed. Good luck, Chad. All right, move on to the newly crowned motocross champion, Ryan Dungey. Second last year. It was your first ride on the KTM. Now you're back. You got a year under your belt. You got lots of testing. How's it been going? What's your expectations for tomorrow night?
Well, it's been going really well. Coming off the outdoor season, which went really well as well, and just trying to keep that momentum moving forward. I feel like we made a lot of good progress. From last year at this point. We had about 2 weeks on the dirt bike, which about 6 days of riding or so. But fast forward a year, I feel like we're in a good spot, definitely in a better position to win, and I'm excited. I think these last 2 weeks, as soon as we were able to wrap up the outdoor stuff, I feel like these last 2 weeks have been going really well. I feel like we did our homework really well to the point where the 2 weeks of testing really, I think we were able to make some good progress. So to win is the goal for sure, but to see where we're at, I think it's a good opportunity to make changes if necessary. But last year we were able to take a lot from this race, so this year it'll be a little bit better to be in this position and go out there and give it our good shot.
Now, all these manufacturers make great motorcycles, and just we hear these guys always talking about trying to make their bike better, and for the people watching at home and around the world, basically what you're doing is you're taking a production-based machine, but then you're trying to make it work specifically how you want it for a specific application. Like, what's the difference between a production bike and what we're talking about? Everybody talking about testing, changing the bike, trying to make it better.
Yeah, I mean, production bike, as far as that goes, they're awesome bikes. There's no way. I mean, we could buy one right off the showroom floor, and sometimes it might be a little tough on a Supercross track because you got to have the suspension stiffer in a few areas here and there. But a production bike, we could have just as much fun on it as anyone else and make it work really well. But it's the point when you start pushing the bike to its limit, and these days, we're going so fast, and every guy, the speeds are increasing, the equipment's getting better, and the tracks are getting faster. So I feel like, as a racer, you're always on the edge, and you always got to be on the lookout for little bits and pieces. So that's it. You know, I mean, just if you can make suspension better, motor better, just fine tuning it. You know, it's awesome machinery. I mean, every my KTM is awesome. I love it, but you got to fine tune it here and there.
Yeah, these guys are fortunate. They've earned the right to ride on the most cutting edge, most, technologically advanced motocross bikes on the world. So pretty cool. Any questions for Ryan Dungey?
You mentioned learning a lot last year at this event. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
What I mean by it is, last year was making a lot of different changes. Definitely going over to Team KTM was after 5 years on another brand, so that was a little bit different. But didn't have a lot of time on the bike, which for this race was normal. But as far as making things better was just bike setup. I feel like the race went really well for us last year. Second place, wasn't terrible at all. I feel like we leaving here, we had about a week off after this, and then we were able to put some stuff together for the very following week, and there we were making the bike better, making good increases. So just making the bike setup better.
Ryan, you by yourself this weekend? What happened to Marvin and Ken?
Ken's still partying.
Yeah, those guys spent some time after the Motocross Nations in Europe and getting some stuff taken care of on their end. But I guess it's just myself and the KTM truck this week.
Yeah, you're in the unique position here, at least with this group, that you're the only one that everything has been. I mean, Adam even has a broken finger. Justin switching bike. Barcia's jumping up to the big bike. Reed and Villopoto are both coming off injuries. So you feel like that's an advantage?
I think it's good to see everybody back. Our sport was tough for a lot of guys last year. And even early this year, especially myself. I went through a little deal there. But, it's good to be here. Good to see everybody healthy. It makes the racing better. It's good to... Villopoto, he's a strong rider, as well as Chad, Barcia bumping up, and Brayton, and I without a doubt know this guy's gonna be up there in the pro ranks here soon. So I think I don't know about an edge, but it's definitely good. I'm glad we had a healthy outdoor season, but I'm excited to race against these guys. I like to win against the best, and that's what means the most.
Jason?
Last year, maybe there's a little less pressure. It's your first race on the new bike. You got second, and you were happy with that. Now it's a little bit different story. You're a year into it. So if you were to finish second or third again, is that a disappointment now? Do you put more pressure on yourself expecting to win the race since your program is really where it needs to be right now?
Well, I definitely go to every race to win. Even last year with 2 weeks on the bike, I might have been a little bit over the top thinking I could win it, but at the same time I was, that was the goal. I wasn't going to go there to settle for second. Ryan rode really good last year and ended up walking away with the million. But no, last year the position we were in, and then now, I feel like it's the same. Nothing's really changed. Just approach it the same way, and I didn't look at it any different though last year.
Any more questions for Ryan Dungey? All right. Wish you the best of luck. Now we get to the final rider of the night, the $1 Million Man. Was the first rider to get his name on the Monster Energy Cup trophy. Big round of applause for two-time defending Monster Energy Supercross champion, Ryan Villopoto. All right, Ryan, coming off of the injury back in Seattle. I hear you've been ripping it. I hear it's like you haven't lost a step. How's the knee?
Yeah, knee's good. It's what they can do these days and get you back out on the track or get you back out walking or whatever you do. It's fairly quick these days, so that's always good. And started riding a while ago, doing some outdoor stuff, but now we transitioned over to Supercross, and that's going really well. And like I think for myself, Chad, Justin, we're all coming out here to kind of see where we're at. It's a close race. You close to all the shops and everything. That's not overseas to where you can come here, see where we're at, and then go back and work on things and see what we need to work on.
I know you guys got lots of questions, so let's just get to it.
Ryan, what is your relationship with your other Cowie rider up there, Adam? And also, do you see potential in him as a pro?
Maybe. If he's lucky, he'll make it. No, Adam doesn't live too far from where I live, and every day I'm at the farm, he's there. Obviously, we're able to ride together Supercross, not too often, but mainly before this race, and that's always good. He was out here doing testing and things for getting set up on the big bike, but if it were to come next year, he'll be more in Florida and we'll be able to ride together more. But we rode this summer together, pretty much every day that I was riding, he was there. So it's good. It's a good relationship. I have fun with him. I think I think myself, Jake, anybody that's at the farm, I think it helps him. I can remember being at the end of my 80 career, getting ready to move up, and wanting to move up, but we're telling him just hang on. It's wait till you move up. It's going to be a lot harder than it seems. But no, I think he's ready for it. He's ready for the big bike, and I think we'll see out here. I've seen him on a Supercross track with outdoor suspension, and it goes well for him. So, I don't think he'll have any problem.
Steve Cox up front.
You after you hurt your knee, you sort of just walked into the press conference in May for this race, and a lot of us had to do kind of a double take because it seemed like you're just walking fine. What's the difference between like walking condition like you were in and then actually getting in a condition where you can ride and race?
Mainly just the ligament strength itself. I was able to walk, cycle, pretty much do everything. I had to be careful on twisting it or doing something stupid, but like I said, what they can do these days, they get you out there pretty quick, and the swelling and things that normally occur after surgery were pretty minimal for me. I was able to make a very quick recovery from surgery, and then just start rehabbing right away. And it's mainly just you have to wait on the ligament. Like even 2 weeks into it, you're like, man, it feels pretty good, but not. I wouldn't say good to go ride, but man, you're like, man, it feels really good, but you still have to be careful, and then it even gets worse, each day as it goes on, and then once you hit around, the 3-4 month mark, you're just kind of waiting for the doctor to let you go.
Ryan, last year you were able to win the million, get your name on the cup. You have experience at this race by winning that nobody else has. Let's go back 1 year ago to when you won the first main event, and everybody else after that, nobody's got a chance at the million except for you. What was the mindset like?
Mainly just to get through the weekend, healthy, because obviously everybody knows Anaheim 1 is the goal. It's the Supercross series, but going into the second race, it's obviously just a start. It's not a 20-lap main like normal, so you don't have that time to catch up to somebody or work your way through the pack if you make a mistake, whatever the case may be. So it's a start, and then this year it's a bit different because there is a lane that you have to take that is slower by, I'm assuming, quite a bit from the looks of it as of now. So we'll see. That's going to take a little bit of strategy depending on where you're at, what kind of start you get, and how close someone is behind you or in front of you. So we'll see how it goes. I think it's going to come down to, obviously everybody knows it's the start.
Okay, but then let's go back a year ago. You won the second one, and Ryan was putting some pressure on, but you both of the first two mains, you clearly were focused. Any thought of the million and all that going into when you're on the line for the final one? It had to cross your mind at some point.
No, we line up here every year, and I should say in 2011, we all lined up, and there was all three of us sitting up here were pretty close in points. So I'd rather be racing and having the pressure of, oh, you know, winning $1 million and one race, or winning a Supercross championship and all of that. So that's much more pressure than lining up just to go out and win the $1 million. But yeah, it was good. I mean, I just was focused on the start. That was the main thing. And then once I got a start, it was just consistent 10 laps. You know, obviously the way the night was going, I was riding really well and felt well. So if anybody was going to mess it up, it was going to be myself.
Any more questions?
Ryan, last year you did this event after a long season. You know, it's the final race. This time it's kind of like the first one of a new kind of chapter, if you like. You kind of looking forward to it a bit more, so to speak?
Yeah, it's be good. Like, it'd just be figure out kind of where we're at, what we need to work on, what we need to work on with our bike and things like that. So it's kind of like the first race, and it's like you said, it's a bit different. It's kind of like the figure out where you're at, go back and do your homework, and show up at Anaheim 1.
Ryan, I think they've thrown you kind of an additional challenge this year with having to alternate sides of the gate for the mains. How much of a factor do you think that'll be?
I don't know. I mean, I have to go down and look at it, but we'll see. I'm just a little concerned that there's nothing splitting where we come in and merge together. So that potentially could be just a big pile up right there when we all come into the stadium. So you know, we'll see. I think the gates or whatever, it's going to be coming into the stadium here that I think it's going to play a little bit of a factor.
Any more questions for Villopoto? All right, last year's Monster Energy Cup champion, Ryan Villopoto. Big round of applause. Back on the bike. All right, guys, that's going to conclude tonight's press conference. These guys are going to go get dressed and get down on the racing surface. Would like to take this opportunity to welcome 3 new sponsors that we have. AMSOIL, going to be sponsoring the mechanics area, Toyota for the whole shot, and Traxxas for the scoring tower. Have fun, guys. All right, before you guys take off, we've got a couple more festivities for everyone. So I'd like everyone to turn their attention to the television screens behind me. And we have a preview of tomorrow night's track.
The guys are going to be funneling down 2 lanes, merging into one when they get inside the stadium. And then when they get inside the stadium, they're going to use the whole length, pretty much 100 yards, into a right-handed turn for the Toyota Whole Shot Award. And for sure, hands down, the largest feature of the track, I mean just huge, is the Talladega turn. I think it's going to be spectacular for passing. I think it's going to be spectacular for the fans. I think the riders are really, really going to like it. Big, wide, huge bowl turn. We're calling it the Talladega turn. And I can't wait to see when these guys get on this and ride that part of the track. It's so cool that it being a hybrid track, we have all kinds of cool ideas that we think the fans will like and that the riders will like, that will also race good as well. It's going to be something to see, no doubt about it. And you know, just it not being your typical Supercross track, that's what I think people are going to like about it. You know, this is going to be really fun. Right behind me, first ever time used in our sport in competition, we got the Joker lane. Hands down the most controversial section of the track. But after you've completed the first lap of your segment, the gate's going to open, you're going to get the green light, and you're going to have to go through the Joker lane at least once. What's going to be the strategy? Do you go early? Do you go late? Do you go to the same time as the guy that you're racing against? Right there when you're behind him or in front of him? Either way, it's going to be exciting.
All right. Thanks, Ricky Carmichael, for that preview on the TV. And now if everyone could move to the windows, we have a demonstration. The first bike on the track is actually going to be the individual who designed the track, along with Feld Motorsports, 5-time Monster Energy Supercross champion, Ricky Carmichael, to give us a demonstration.
that's where the Joker lane is. We were trying to figure it out.
Dig it? How cold is it up here? Are you cold?
No. It's not cold. I know, I heard you.
I'm like,
Are you getting sick? It's all the AC in Vegas. As soon as you get to Vegas, like, it's just freezing everywhere. I'm always cold. Dude, I like the split start.
he was supposed to have already ridden the track.
Oh,
And,
yeah, really? Warming up.
Yeah.
Some guys can go inside, some guys can go outside. It should be pretty interesting.